Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we've got Damian Todd with us. A 20-year career in the Marines and the Forces. Has a career after that as well, and a commercial career, leadership coach, public speaker, holds a world record for grappling. We'll go into that as well, and much, much more. We might need 3 or 4 episodes to cover everything, but thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Especially from where you live as well. It's a long journey. I really appreciate it. We're just discussing, where do we start? What would you describe yourself as these days?
I'm a bit of an idiot. A bit of an idiot. But I'm okay with that. I'm a bit like Marmite, a bit like Marmite or Vegemite if you're an Aussie. You like or you loathe, I think. I don't think there's anything in between. I am just an ordinary guy and I've done some extraordinary things. That's all I probably describe myself as doing. And like I said before, we said, where do you start with? Well, I don't know. We pick one thing and you could fill time. I've done so many things. And so in terms of like most recently, becoming an author, I mean, that's one of my absolute proudest achievements and the difference between that and the other things like the world record or the charity stuff I've done, that at the end of those, there's always a void after creating some monster of a thing. Even going through basic training with the Marines all those years ago when I finished, which is 36 years ago since I finished training. And obviously that 22 years afterwards, there's a big void. Oh, now we've done all that. Now what do you? Oh, here's your Greenberry. Off you go to normal work. And what's work? In the Marines. So you do this and you stood on the gate with your gun. Right, well, this is it. Wow, for me, all this hype. The same with doing the charity events. There's always a big void at the end. But the difference with the book, specifically, right in my first book, and I'm nearly finished the second, and get it out there, is I can hold that. It's actually something tangible. I can hold it. People have, sort of commented on it, some really great feedback, and and thus far, everyone met, I love the book, great book, and that's where I am now. So if you say what am I now, so I'm still a bit of an idiot, but sense of humour, a bit dark. But that's I think most servicemen and certain other professions have that way because you need to be. And but I'm an author and a coach, I guess, a mentor, a jiu-jitsu coach. A whole lot of things still. But author first, I think I'd say author.
It's interesting you say about the emptiness after doing something. So I cycled Lanzarote ropes 2009, and the day we finished, I don't know what I was expecting. It's something I'd always wanted to do. And then we'd finished and I was just empty. Even in the van on the way home, it didn't feel, I was used to feeling the wind in my face. It's just I could have done 80 miles a day for the rest of my life, I think, and been happy. And it was really weird. And you go, okay, well, what's the next thing? What do I have to do now?
It's purpose. It's everything that I think I'm not saying every man, everybody I think needs a purpose, whatever that looks like. And we all define our own purpose. And we have to, because otherwise, if you're doing somebody else's thing, that's not necessarily your purpose. I think and that's a perfect example. You get to the end of it, right? Well, you're expecting, large crowds to lift you up, but you actually, I miss doing that stuff. And certainly when I was doing the handbike, the handbike, I'm doing that every day for 26 miles a day, which is horrendous. It was horrific, but fuck, I missed it. Absolutely missed doing it for whatever reason, putting yourself through the pain of doing jiu-jitsu and grappling 230 people over a day, and then at the end of it, you're thinking, oh, you must have slept really, well, no, I didn't. I was hyped.
I mean, let's talk about that. So I've done a bit of martial arts over the years. I've tried to stay away from the wrestling and grappling side of things. It's not really. But I've done it for like 30 seconds and been absolutely shattered. I can't contemplate doing that for 24 hours. There's a world record. So, It's supposed to be hard, isn't it?
I'm still, I mean, it's still an unofficial world record. It's classed by Guinness because they haven't classified it. And if anyone ever watches this from Guinness, please answer your damn because I've been chasing this for years. I'm literally chasing it for years. And because the original email I've got, let's go back to it, say, I'm going to want to do this. And they said, actually, we can't classify because it's too dangerous, which is just absolute nonsense. The things that they classify, that was their wording. Anyway. But yeah, so how did that come about? In short, one of my friends had taken his own life, and I wanted to do something. I didn't know what some charity thing for to help a local for me at that time. I was living in Australia, suicide prevention charity. This was 2016 that Marcus took his own life, and I couldn't do it that year because I was just about to have spinal surgery. You know, I'd lost the feeling in my legs and my arms. I felt at the British, the blue belt state championships. Move on 6 months. I had the surgery on my neck fused, and then 2 and a bit years later, opened up the doorway again to, right, what can I do? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. World records are there. There's only people in the Guinness Book of Records was Bushesha, who's so many world championships in his 2008, and that was it. I thought, well, could I grapple for an entire day? Could I grapple people for an entire day? And how would that look? So basically, 24 hours, each competitor faced me, and we'd sometimes stood up, sometimes sat down, and roll for 5 minutes, as in grapple for 5 minutes, submit each other, whatever else, and then have a minute off. And in the minute off, make it way. So just step off. I'd have my photograph taken with each competitor, so I would remember that.
Yeah.
It's a great little video that my best friend Suze, he put together.
Yeah.
And it shows the, as I call it, the degradation of man. So things like that.
It's not evolution, and then the opposite.
The hair and my flipping. It's, I always tell something. It's the same. I repeat this to people, but it was incredible, But 3 cracked ribs later, my neck was knackered anyway because bear in mind it's fused. Because I still can't feel my right hand side properly ever since my it's a long-term effect of a bobsleigh accident I had in 2001, but that's another story.
Yeah.
And but yes, I grappled against 230 people over 24 hours to establish a as yet still unofficial.
Come on, Guinness.
There's a guy who's also done more hours. He did 30 hours in Thailand, a guy, and he was also previously a student of my other best mate, Mick. And he was his students. Where he'd now moved to Thailand from Victoria State, and he'd gone to Thailand, and he did it there. And he rang me and said, "Got any tips?" I went, "Yeah, just keep going."
And at
this point, it's like anything, but how could you do that? How can you make that happen? I'm like, well, you just little bite-sized chunks. You don't. I don't think about. It's midday, day after my 48th birthday. Let's crack on. I've got 24 hours to go. I definitely do this. You don't think about it. You just go into that mode, off the mats, shakes the hands, get your photograph taken, drink a bit. You competitor go on the mats and just crack on. And just while we were rolling round, because it was being live streamed out to 42 countries, I think, watched it at some point. And I'd just say thank you to everybody for the rolls. And then one particular I'd said, no, thank you for getting me here and saving my life, because he was struggling. And he says, now I've seen you done this, I know I can do anything, because this is ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, it was hard work, absolutely hard work. It wasn't hard, it was horrendous. But yeah, awesome.
You mentioned about finding purpose. Was it a similar thing after leaving the military? So you've got to find a new reality, haven't you?
Pretty much, because life outside is very different.
Yeah.
Easily transfer those skills that you have. I think having done so long, I think it was easy to have those skills transfer into another role. So for myself, when I left the Marines in 2011, and I went out almost straight away to live in Sweden and work with BAE Systems Hägglund, which I'd worked with before on a vehicle project, and just kind of went and did training, maintenance, project management to a degree, and then I'd get sent all over Europe and then eventually to Australia to work with stuff. And it was relatively easy to do that because I knew those people. I knew those people in the factory, and I knew the people in the workshops and the offices and stuff. And, you know, I learned to speak Swedish really quick and just got integrated. So it just kind of came easy. I think the hardest part was when I did that, and then I lived there for 2.5 years, then, you know, moved over to Australia, did the same kind of thing for 3 years at BAE Systems in Australia, in Adelaide.
Did it take longer to learn Australian?
The colloquialisms are exactly there. And super say, oh, it's that's heat. Or they'd say, I'm not going for something too, but they'd say, yeah, nah. Yeah,
I know a lot of Australians through cricket.
It's just what are you talking about? But at the same time, it kind of also made sense. But I worked for BAE Systems there. That was great. And then I moved into like away from the green, because that was still kind of the green stuff. I moved away from the green stuff, got into the real world of like, why is this like this? And it was a particularly toxic environment. I worked for a training organisation. It was toxic, horrendous. The bosses, the two, you know, co-CEOs, husband and wife, were just, I'm trying to think of a really good word, but I can only think of shit. It was shit. If I was categorising anybody, I'm not mentioning the name, but they were shit. They were horrible. They're horrible people. And I thought, it's got to be more to this. And then I went to another job, and hang on, this is shit as well. What's going on? And it wasn't necessarily shit. It was just different. And trying to get used to that difference. And I could say to the lads, what's in the call? Right, lads, I need this doing. By 12:30, get this done. And I go, right, any problems, any questions? And they go. And they do this. And won't be tired if I hadn't done it, because I said, right, if you can't do it, come back to me if there's a problem. And I found the difference outside. I was constantly having to chase things like, well, why haven't I done that? Oh, I've been busy. I know you've been busy, but this thing, that's also part of your busy. Why is this not part of your busy? I still struggle to get my head around that 15 years on. And I think, you know, in my most recent job, which I loved, you know, I had a great team around me, boss was great. And I spoke to him in my last podcast I did about Adam, just a superb guy. But there's some other people within that organisation, I wouldn't follow them to the shops. They're just shit. And so how are you in charge? You're shit. What does nobody, because nobody see, it's just, you're a turd, and I couldn't, no matter how much I polish you, you're still a turd. And again, I won't mention names, but they're just awful people.
Isn't it funny that I always wonder, like, what in their life have they experienced to be who they are now? Why are they so, why are they not right for that kind of role? Because like we say, like we always talk about sales, how if you're a really good salesman, you might not be good at leading a team of salespeople, because one's quite a selfish style of being, and one's selfless, and one is all on you, and you're very motivated, and then you've got to tell, work with other people and give up that knowledge and that skill. And can you, can you talk about it? Can you describe what you're doing? Can you motivate? Can you, and are you bothered about it? And then, so like you say, with people that are in leadership roles, and you're not very good. That's not a nice person at all.
Being in a role in a job for however many years, and because they've been there and they've got the experience, well, they've got the experience of the job, but like I said, it doesn't make them specifically good leaders. I think there's some exceptional leaders out there, and I've met them. You know, my boss, exceptional leader and manager, and there are differences. But then trying the best to coach them to be better. They could talk about their job, then get us to try and lead somebody, or just couldn't do it. It's hard. It's hard to. So, well, I don't suck up. I tell people, any chance you can be good in a diplomatic way. And I don't go wrong, get it wrong. And I've got it wrong. But because of those things, right, I've got that wrong. How can I be better? That's a good leader, I think. And I don't say that because I'm saying that because that's what I do. But I think that those who do that and go, right, something went wrong. What did I do wrong? First, forget what you guys did. You have to answer that. I could probably tell what went wrong with this. But if I can look at myself in the mirror and go, right, what did I do wrong? If I did nothing wrong, I can say that. Or if I did say something and did it wrong, and tell you that, you can't come back to me because I've just told you that. I got that wrong. What did you do? Or what didn't you do? And if I know they've done something, but I can't own, it's ownership. And, there's a bit in my book, talk about a really good guy, Kenny, mountain leader. Brilliant. One of the best, I'd say one of the best branches in the Corps. I had some of the absolute best blokes. The mountain leaders were brilliant. Absolutely 100% respect for him. But on this one particular occasion, he fucked up. Now, some people might still argue that, well, actually, you did this. Well, no, actually, I was there on the ground, and everybody I was with a lot of winter's experience on the ground in Norway, he fucked up. And he didn't own it. So he lost respect. I just think if you mess it up, then fine, don't mess it up. And don't get me wrong, I've not always had this moniker and this ideology, but that's what I work to. And I hope, and I certainly try and push people to go, I messed up. Great, put your hands up. That's not weakness. That's strength in owning your shit. I think that I just wish that I'd seen that more everywhere. Marines as well, but I think you only learn that over time and experience.
I'd read Ant Middleton's book. I think he's quite an interesting character in many ways. And the thing I took away from it, he said there was a point in his life where he'd been in prison, he'd done all sorts, and he looked in the mirror and he said, I had to be really honest with myself. Like, don't make any excuses. Be brutally honest with yourself. And it's a hard thing to do. And if you've made a mistake or you have to, it's on you that. How do you move forward after that? And it was, I think it was probably a time in my life where I thought, I've got to do that as well. You've got to be honest. Otherwise, you'll just continue making those mistakes unless you own up to them and you learn from them. And it's important that, as I think high level people are always reviewing their performance or how they behave with people, how they talk and improve.
Yeah. I think it's a good example of somebody, who's also done the things he's done, both during his time in the Corps and in the SBS, and obviously his exposure now to TV and the like, and it does change you. I've got a couple of friends who've done that, and I don't know him personally. I know Ollie, one of his compadres who's been on TV. We went through training together and sent PRC together. Ollie's Ollie, he does his stuff in his own world. But I know when you're at, say at their level, I don't see it as a level. Everyone, as far as I'm concerned, is equal. Just because you're on TV doesn't make you a better person. There's a lot of knobheads, I'm telling you, And again, but at the same time, I am that person to some people on the planet. So I feel, no, not. It would be arrogant of me to think that everybody likes me. And it's a foolhardy way. And certainly I carried that for a long time, trying to make people like you. Absolute waste of time. You are wasting your time. If you're trying to do that, stop. You're wasting your time. Surround yourself with people who you enjoy spending your time with, and vice versa. Not because you can get anything out of them, because the only thing you get out of people, the best thing you can get out of people is time. There's no greater thing, If I give you £1 million now, you've probably got no quid, don't you? But if I take an hour of your time, well, you'll never get that back. You could lose £1 million and get it back. You can never get your hour back.
Yeah.
And okay, an hour is a relatively short space of time, but it's still, even sat here, giving time is super important. And I think those are the people who afford you your time. Might be traveling up to Manchester and Warrington and wherever else in the next couple of days. That's, I hope, been the greatest gift that you can give to just spending time with those guys that I spent time with over the last couple of days.
I used to watch the Who Dares Win stuff on TV, and I was always observing the instructors, people run it at Middleton, and then it came to a series where a new guy came in, and I could see they all listened to this guy and they all talked. So there was a lot of respect for him, trying to remember his name. I always ruin stories with not remembering his name. He's the highest ranking SAS guy. You must know who.
Is it Mark? Was it Mark? Join later? Mark Billy?
Billy,
yeah.
Billy Billiam.
He's actually only SAS guy.
Yeah,
I was at SBS. And he was SAS. Same but different.
They clearly all respected him a lot, and it was amazing to see the shift of egos that went on then, and they just looked at him and he spoke, and so it's a fascinating kind of study on psychology and respect and how that's earned. I think.
Yeah, it is, and I think, excuse me, the it's not like a willy waving exercise. It's just, oh, what have you done? Or what have you done? Well, we've all done amazing things.
Yeah,
it's all relative, but in those fields, and it's like, who's the alpha male? Well, actually, does it matter? I mean, it kind of does and doesn't. It depends what you're doing. I mean, like jiu-jitsu for a start. If I was completely new to it, never done it before, so you got to say, Obi, I want to come and do some jiu-jitsu with you. Okay. Well, it's you and only go on the mat, so you can look at the belts, you know the belt structure from white, blue, purple, brown, black. The likelihood is, knowing this structure of that, you're going to look at the black belt for advice and experience and techniques and that, because he's been doing this for 10 plus years. Naturally, you would do that, and so that would be the same as your alpha groups. But that's an alpha that's grown through a system. But actually, some black belts that I've trained with and roll with, actually instructor-wise, they're not particularly good. They know how to do it, but actually get them to articulate that, not particularly good. And I think that's the difference. I say, having people who are, in that particular case, is he more alpha than the others? Well, he might have done X, Y, and Z that they look at and think, oh, it's amazing. But then he might also look at something that those guys have done and go, oh, that was amazing. And it's should be like a happy medium. But unfortunately, we as humans, we have this, puffing the chest out and the Conor McGregor walk, look at me, I'm the biggest. Okay, great. But then, I don't know how you humble people in that scenario. It's easy. Jiu-jitsu is easy because you go, let's just have a fight and let's see. Let's get a win. Not quite as easy. Do you fancy a roll? So you roll around for 5 minutes and that works out, or it doesn't work out in other cases.
It's a fascinating thing. I once saw, I used to do Aikido. I did a bit of Thai boxing at school, and I didn't like the elbowing and kneeing in faces and stuff. It's just a little bit too, for me, too long term. So I was doing this, and the lady running it was like 5 foot maybe, and there's an older guy who'd come along to give it a go and was getting quite aggressive, and she just flung him around the mat a few times at this, and he didn't come back after that. But it was a weird dynamic, and it's a leveler very quickly. In that match. Okay, so what made you join the military? You asked me.
Quite simply because my mates at the time, two mates at school, of course.
Yeah.
My best mate, Andy Lanner, his brother tried to get. All he went on about, as I remember now, was joining the Marines.
Yeah.
And he went to Limpston to do his PRC, a 3-day assessment, physical assessment, and those things, and he failed. He came back and said, "Oh, you should try." And I said, "Yeah, you're fit." I went, "All right, no worries." I was a hairdresser at the time. I was a ladies' hairdresser, which I loved. I really did love it.
Yeah.
But boss Nev was, again, brilliant boss. Just love it. And his wife at the time, Nita, lovely family. I had no reason to necessarily leave. Home was okay. Mum and dad split up a few years later, but it was okay. Living in, rural Lincolnshire. Boring. So I went down, went to Lincoln Careers Office, a few pull-ups, and then went down to Limpston after a few other tests. Did a 3-day assessment. I passed because my mate said, "You should give it a go." I had no idea what the Marines did. literally no idea what the call did.
Mm.
I'd seen them on the telly, the Falklands, 7 years earlier, 6-7 years earlier, because I started to apply in 89 and I joined in May of 89, sorry, in 88, and I joined in May 89. But kind of just threw them out in the ring, went, yeah, go. And I went, oh shit, I passed. Got the top prizes at the end, if you want to call it a top prize, Commando medal. It's kind of given out by the lads in the training team for the guy who's the shows the Commando spirit, which is the determination, unselfishness, leadership. I think they've dropped that one now. Leadership, cheerfulness under adversity, and courage. They were the 5 at that time qualities. They've dropped one. I think it's leadership they've dropped as a quality now. But I've got Commando medal. It's up on the wall at home, being presented that by General Vaux, and the Mule as a King's Badge, which was the best all-round recruit. A guy called Terry Price. Got that, and rightly so. He was brilliant. If you didn't know, ask Tal. He'll know. Ask Tal. But yeah, so yeah, that was it. It was
For a bet.
pretty much, yeah. Oh, you should go off that. And then I passed. My PE teacher told me that I couldn't. He gave me 6 months.
All right.
He said, "You'll last 6 months."
Yeah.
And I didn't. I lasted a lot longer.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
A bit longer. So yeah, that was one. Simple as that.
And when you got there from learning on the job, as is what they did, you clearly had a aptitude for it. And did you like it? It's like a weird, not the word to use.
I don't. Yeah. I think it's a bit like Jits, really. You can't not like being in the call.
Yeah.
And guys, you'd whinge and you'd what you call dripping about it all day, dripping like a tap, just moaning about it, and the weird whinge. I know it's cyclic. And I call them life. I call it, it's like an oscilloscope. Life, you have your ups and downs, waves. And you'll go through points where this, what am I doing here? You'd be in the middle of nowhere, some crappy exercise, not actually knowing what you're doing there, pointless. You sat there with your rifle and your kit and the chocolate biscuits I've taken for a bit of morale, and a cup of tea, which is still my morale. Afternoon cup of tea, chocolate biscuits, perfect. And they've all been really posh. I've Marks and Spencer ones, the thick ones. There used to be 12 in there, the cheeky bastards, and there's now 9. They've robbed us over the years.
Inflation's.
It's like your Mars bars this big. But there would be points you go, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? This is shit.
Yeah.
And even on going overseas on ops, and you go, what am I doing here? What am I actually doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of, I can't speak for everybody, but I think a lot of lads I've spoken to about Afghan feel very cheated in the way that's happened. All that stuff. 20 years of going through all that stuff. And then they go, we're off now, we're off. And then give it back to the people they were trying to, push against.
Yeah.
But not direct to a government.
Made no sense, did it? After all that time. What's the point
serious?
of it all?
All those guys who died and have been maimed physically, mentally over the years. And you give it back. I don't make any sense.
I wasn't there. I felt angry about it.
I don't get it. And this try and rhyme a reason, etc. It doesn't matter. I don't affect the price of eggs or any. I'm just a tiny old cog that's not even in the system, as most of us are. But to try and get my head around that, and I think everybody I've spoken to who'd served, or been, well, I don't get it. So those questions, those are things like, well, what? All that career, what was that for? The guy had a tiny part of that, but I think guys who'd been out there repeatedly to do what was bid of them to fight a good fight, and then to be left empty.
Yeah,
with that. So I mean, but to your original point is, you do all that stuff, and you go, well, what am I doing here? What's the point? But I don't think you can do that unless you loved it. And I do, and I miss.
I was going to say,
parts of it. I don't miss sat in the middle of the field getting piss wet through in Sennybridge or, North Wales or top of some hill. But I do miss being able to do and visit some of the places.
Yeah.
I've done, just saying to you yesterday to Chaddy about this, mate, and, done 89 countries. Visit 89 countries. I want to do 100 before my toes turn up. That's my only all-round bucket list thing to visit countries. I actually care, because some of the countries I've been to, I will never, ever revisit for probably obvious reasons. And but some I'd have to go back to, but I want to do 100. You know, I've visited half the planet. You know, I'm sure I'm sure there are people out there who've visited infinitely more, as in the whole planet. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere who's visited every country. But that's the only thing I want to do, and I miss some of those elements that I've been. You know, I talk about in a book about running on the beach in Sierra Leone with the RSM and with the mate Pete Jordan, and watching the crabs off the beach run into the sea, and they'll run up into their holes in the sea and the sand. This beautiful white beach with all the palm trees in Sierra Leone, which fundamentally, apologies if you're from there, it's a shithole. But it's only a shithole because we compare it to here. But the beach eclipses any beach anywhere on this island.
Yeah.
But you know, fundamentally, the living standards are not the same as the surroundings we have here. So, and that's the only reason I call it like that. It's a beautifully sculptured country.
Yeah.
But would I want to live there? No, thank you. So I miss those bits.
Yeah.
Those moments. Let's say.
Yeah.
And they're afforded to you. You're paid to do that. And stand up top some mountain.
Yeah.
Civi's paid to do this. Civi's paid to do what we're doing now. So this is great. Equally, when, you know, and it's I think so. It's when the rounds are going down and people are getting shot at and all that sort of stuff, and the bangs are going off, and people go, oh, it's fucking great, isn't it? And it is like that. It's weird. It's so weird. It's strange.
So we've recorded nearly 100 of these episodes, and we talked a lot with people about decision making and decision making under stressful circumstances and situations. Had chief superintendents from police and all sorts of talking about that. And I think that military and the police are very good like professions to go, okay, well, you're making decisions here under stressful circumstances, life or death a lot of the time. And what goes into that? What are the are you taught to do? Is it natural? Is it you know, when you look back on things to do with making decisions, what are your reflections on
training? Everything's about training. Decision making has to be based in those environments, training and experience. And if I'm trying to put it into another, if you do one thing, let's say the guys who do, go back to Jiu-Jitsu as an example, always be scared of the person who's done one thing 1,000 times, one particular submission, get that submission 1,000 times, than him doing 1,000 things once. That first guy, just stay away. They're going to be the ones. And it's exactly the same decision making, and it's about having a plan. But whenever you go through a set of orders, when you're giving it to the lads, right, this is the orders, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go from here to here, through here and here. But this is my plan. But my plan is my plan, but the enemy's plan is completely different. And I can try and guess what they'll do based on the ground, based on the situation, the tactics, the information we have on them, the equipment we believe they have, because it's always belief. You don't know for sure what everybody else, the other person has. And you just go, right, we'll run with it. But if anything happens here, if we come into contact here, we're going to do this, we'll do this, and you'll do this. And again, this is all notwithstanding anybody getting shot in the process or else. And then if we get to here, we'll stop here, we'll do a stop short, and then we'll do all these things. You have a plan. So you're doing it and you're making a decision, and something happens that would combat that. You have to make those quick decisions. You've already got a plan. So, and I apply that to everything. Everything, dude. Let's go here. So, like coming here today, it's about 50 minutes. No, it's not. It's an hour and 10 because there's traffic, there's roadworks, there's,
there's always traffic and roadworks,
especially global.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So it's having a plan, but having a plan B, C, D, and E, and that part of that decision making process is made easier by having almost like a line of plans that sit behind your plan. So if you say, I'm going to go out the door there, if I put the foot out, you didn't say I was going to put the foot out, you trip up, your plan's screwed. That decision you've made to go out the door has been scuppered by something you didn't know. So have all these other things. It makes it harder because you've got to create all these supplementary plans, that decision-making process. But it's just automatic because you've got this. I've got this in my head. When you make a decision, it's scuppered by me tripping you up. But if you plan, if Damian trips me up here, then what I'll do is I'll step to the side and go around. I'm trying to put it into real simple terms, but that's, to make a decision is easy if you have alternate plans, because decisions in that environment come as a result of counters to your plan, I think. But you've got a plan for it, so you just continue decision, just like a flow chart. Did he trip you up? Yes. I stepped to the side, and that sort of thing. And I would say it's easy, but it does come to a point with training.
Yeah.
You have to train for that.
I'm always trying to educate my son as to think further on from now.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, if you're taking your time, putting your shoes on, we can't do what you want to do when you get to school because we're too late.
Yeah.
So get your bloody shoes on. But so there's that kind of the implications of what you're doing now. If you want to do something good later, we'll do this quicker. And it's the same thing, isn't it? It's just that forward thinking. And
the comprehension, I think, of that comes when you've had, again, go back, experience. So as a child, I've always son is as a child, and then they have no comprehension. Time, money. It's just.
And I don't want to have that really now.
It's just like, well, what do we do? But as an adult, you should have that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen either.
No.
I think you can only have that through experience and right enough training. And the training might come from your experience only, or it might come from actual training. Again, FAFO, this happened to me, but I'm not going to do that again. Put a foot out and you come again, you're going to step around because I'm not going to trip over your foot. For experience, go training. It's experience is training of sorts.
I was always amazed when I left education and went into the work, the real world, how it wasn't hard to look good at what you do. And it amazed me that there's so many people that just they're either not capable or a bit stupid. They're not good with other people. And my thing was I was quite good with other people, so I was good at connecting in software companies, support and the clients and the technical team and project managers, and I was just like in between and trying to make things happen. And I couldn't believe that people didn't see that. They couldn't see like synergies between things and be able to. This is the end goal. We need to do all these and these to bring this into to reality and to work. I just couldn't understand it. And it always amazed me like how that happens and stuff. But I'm going on a tangent, and what I wanted to go into, really conscious of time, is the transferable skills you mentioned from the military to civvy world and working in commercial areas. What were the kind of transferable skills that you took from the military? Because you've spoken a bit about leadership and you've worked with leadership models, from what I understand. How did that come about? What's the
so couple of questions, I guess, but I guess the first to answer the last one first. About the leadership is, how do I get to class myself as a leadership coach? And again, last podcast it goes, so what do you say you are now? Are you a leadership coach? I was like, well, I am, but again, I wholly believe we do, by whatever means, we are our own best coaches for the most part, because if we don't I could sit here and tell you how you could be a better leader. I don't know how you're going to be a better leader because I don't know you. But if I can see inside your mind and see how you react, pragmatically or reactively, whichever the way it is, will determine your personality will determine ultimately how you are as a leader. And as you touch on there, if you've got good emotional intelligence and you can read people and you're good with people, that absolutely is one of the best, I think, best leadership styles. And I got into doing that was when I'd left the organisation, left BAE Systems, Australia, and worked for that training organisation, which you go, shit. And I was teaching leadership, project management, because I'd done that, and also other stuff to do with like Lean Six Sigma and workplace and Kaizen and all that sort of thing. That was my role, to teach all those things. And when I was leaving that place after a year, because my contract didn't get renewed, which I was extremely pleased about, because I should. And all my students said, you should start your own business, because we don't read the books that you tell us. We just listen to your stories and go, that's how I want to be, because that's what, not because of you, because you're great, but because, well, that makes perfect sense. It's just logical. And there's a book, and the book was catered for everyone. And I thought, well, you're different people. Why am I trying to tell you how to be this book? Because this book doesn't cater necessarily for you. It caters for the median for. So if I catered a course that went around how your emotional intelligence is, your personality, etc., then surely that would be better. So I did that. So I created a course, start my own business, Force of Inspiration, and start my own business which catered to individuals, their personalities, and how they would better themselves based on their personality, rather than a book which catered for all. And it was brilliant. And I'm saying it was brilliant. It worked. So the people I taught were better on their, for their quality, that brought out the best of their qualities, which they had, but also the ones that weren't so good. I made them aware. Well, actually, you're a bit of a dick then, whatever else, and just call them out on it in a diplomatic way and say, "Oh, you're a dick. Well, why do you do that?" But I said, "Oh, well, because you'd be just." But if I'm in a safe environment telling you, "Well, have you ever thought about this?" Well, no, I hadn't really. Okay, well, do that. See, that's a better way. Oh yeah, see that now, because they got a better reaction from the person they're trying to manage, whatever. And it worked. And then I'd take them out into the field and do it out in the bush, all these little things. I call it Commando camp. And they do a day in the field of basically a squished version of the first 3 training exercises in Marines training, squished into one, but turn them into leadership styles. And I put them into different groups of the same type of personalities in that group and the same type in this group. I go, right, off you go. And we do all these things over a day. And they'd be, how tired can you be in a day? Hold my pint. And they'd be absolutely wrecked. But absolutely loved it. Couldn't get enough. So that's how I came into doing the leadership stuff. And now that's the same thing, although I do more public speaking things and focusing on writing, because I love that. And obviously reaping the rewards from that for sure.
We'll go into that in a bit. We had the guy called Ashley Broder on. He's I'm a practitioner, similar to what you were saying, where he says it's not treat people how you would like to be treated, it's treat them how they would like. So communicate to them the way they would like to be communicated to, and it's identifying that style that they have and who they are makes them. It brings more impact into the communication that you have with them. And it was really, really interesting. And he sounded a bit like, I listened to the podcast that you were on previously, and you were talking about the colours involved in identifying stuff. And it sounded a lot like what Ashley was talking about. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
People just need, some people just need short snippets. Some people need the detail. Some people need the how-to, whatever that is. Can you just pass me that cup? Yeah, but can you pass it to me with the handle? So because my hand's a bit whatever else, I can't quite have my hand that way. So I have to give you the detail, but so just pass the cup, mate.
Yeah.
And you, as a whatever color person, and one of the companies I've worked with had all their different colored bricks, of these 4 colored bricks, the red, and they put them in order of, I'm a green, yellow, red, blue, for example. I don't need the details. So I say to guys, like I said earlier, lads, can you go and do this for me? I don't give them the detail. I don't need to think for 8 Marines. I don't need to tell them how to do it. They're Marines. Just go and do it. That was a mindset, and that was easy. Not like, like I said, some people, I don't know, there's some guys on the call were just thick as me. But they can't have been, but yeah.
Yeah. I
frustrating.
think I always look at it as that you're constantly finding solutions to challenges, problem solving, essentially. And so that becomes a way of life. And when you go into Civvy Street and you get people that aren't used to solving problems all the time, it's frustrating because you're like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I can see that frustration in people that start their, so obviously this business has been going 5-6 years. It's nearly 6 years, and you meet a lot of other business owners, and they're hiring people, but they're completely different to them. And they get frustrated because they don't get what they would want back from them, and there's a real kind of there's a barrier between them because the communication's not right, and there's a lack of understanding, really. And there was a point where I was saying that, which has completely gone from me, but it's all around that communication.
And that's the point about having the transferable skills thing. And how does that? What do you have? Well, the ability to do that is to assess people and come across and go into a workplace as a project manager. Or a good project manager does not need to know everything about the project. He does need to know, or she needs to know, everyone. Because, and have that good relationship with those people. The relationships is the best, or being able to establish relationships is one of the best transferable skills. Because not everybody can do that. Some people are crap with people. Some people aren't people, and just having that. So be able to manage those. And I've always said, if I could look after, my last jobs, I was the colour sergeant TQ at an army barracks. But there were guys going through trade training to be mechanics, armourers, as in weapons technicians or such, mechanics, whatever else. A lot of these trades. And I was the colour sergeant. I should look after that, basically accommodation and all their needs. And there's 4 of us there. There's 1 sergeant major, 3 colour sergeants, Marines. The rest were army. I had sometimes 100 Marines you'd have to look after. I could do that. Trust me, I can do anything. I can look after anybody. After that, also I thought, and sometimes having to manage for the first time women in the workplace when I got over here working in a construction company, like I said before, and that was a challenge, very different because we are different, biologically, physiologically, and mentally. We are different, not in a good or a bad way. We are just different, and that was a challenge, absolutely. Compared to 100 Marines, but then there's this thing called I'm a female, so you kind of got to manage them differently, just because talk to them differently. But at the same time, at some point, there's going to be people who are going to rub you the wrong way, whatever else. But I think as long as you have got an idea and you can read people, read the room, read the reactions, and for somebody who's incredibly inappropriate, I am terribly inappropriate a lot of the time. But I try to temper that. But I try to temper the language. But I always see that words are just words, Never punching me in the face, trying to choke me unconscious with words. It's not nice being called names. I've been called horrendous names, all the things, death threats, everything. Well, great. It's just...
It used to be character building, and now I think about being lucky growing up in sport and my dad playing and being around his kind of changing room and then going into me playing and a lot of banter and a lot of stuff that goes on where it can be construed as bullying sometimes, but it's it's not as, it's how you react to it, it's how you learn to, and then it's, you stop being the focus, and but now it's kind of, you get cancelled for it. Whatever goes on.
Mimicry is brilliant. I think, I wish, even now, I get to know people, and if I'm not taking the mickey out of you, then you should be more bothered, because I don't. So, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to spend time with you for? But if I take the piss out of people, generally speaking, because I'm my mates, I can, and I can only expect it back, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine. And I don't like the, he said these words, or there is bullying. I've been bullied. I know it's like to be bullied physically and mentally through school, even little bits in the Marines by some random dickheads. Again, not everyone in the call was brilliant. There were some absolute idiots. But, and being bullied. So I know what that's like. It's horrendous. But there is a difference between bullying and camaraderie and banter. They're not the same. People can say they're the same, but no, if you know when you've taken something too far, and if I ever do, I was out of order. That's fine. But to think that some of that isn't okay to do, it's how you build up resilience. If imagine never gone through life, people not liking you or calling you names is stupid.
Resilience is an interesting concept, and someone was having a bit of trouble with some lads in his class. He's only young. This is what happened. And so I got resilience as I got the dictionary open, classic, like short dad moment, and got him to read out resilience and what it means. So that to get through life, you have to build up resilience and come through it. And do you understand what that means? And he kind of looked at me, and he kind of, he didn't want to say yes, but he kind of, he knew what I was, why I was telling him that. Because to get through school and anything, you need a bit of resilience occasionally. A tough spot with the bowling and the situation of the game, or you've gone 1-0 down in football, or whatever it is. There's resilience there. It's like, okay, I'm going to come through this. There's a challenge there. I'm going to try and meet that. I'm going to get through it. I think possibly the military gives you a lot of that.
They definitely beat it into you. They literally beat it into you through. You build you up to, it's almost like they've got the dang the carrot.
Yeah.
You've got to do this one more time, guys. And he broken down, and he built up again and broken down. And it just is, it's like the metal building a forge, beating it down, folding it, beating it again, back in the heat. And you are a piece of metal, and you go through the system.
That's just reminded me of being in the gym at Livingston. And I remember reading they give you a handbook for the.
Do you still have it? Do
you know what? I don't think I do. It might be somewhere. I did keep.
I've still got mine. Ridiculously.
I've got a book that was talking through training, and I've still got. It's got like a calendar thing. Do this on this day, and I've written what I've done all the way through it. I kept that. That must be some. I need to look it up. And it said after a brisk 15-minute warm up, then you go into the, the press ups, sit ups, pull ups, that kind of thing. They beasted us for about an hour. And the main thing I remember about that, and I think it's probably the only bit of the mental conditioning that we did, was it was the hottest weekend of the summer. It was boiling in this place, and we were sweating. We were getting beasted. And so you're wiping the sweat off your face. And every time you did that, you got 10 tuck jumps. And so after 4 or 5 times, if you were stupid enough to get that far and not able to control what you were doing, you didn't do it again. Even a dog learns if you hit it enough, So that kind of mental conditioning, I came away thinking, okay. It's one of the things that stuck with me, because I was like, what's the problem with like wiping off sweat? But I got it. It made sense.
Things like that is don't fidget, don't move. Is so many times I've looked at, why was it matter if I've a little bit of fluff here or whatever else? And my view, and I think it's a view of others as well, is because you go on parade, be inspected in your dress uniform, or even if you just your marching round uniform, your drill uniform, and you pick you up for it, and you go, oh, it's just a tiny bit of cotton or whatever else, and you go, actually, that's important. So when you go out into the field, in the real world, and you look at, that's your left of arc and right of arc, means that's where you've got to look to see if your enemy's coming or something. And you take a photographic, an image of that in your mind, and then you go look here and it makes you acutely aware of any changes in that landscape. So that wasn't there before. Why is that bush moved, or why is that door open, etc.? Well, let's focus on that. And that could be anything. It could be nothing, but it could be the enemy's moved in there, or could be, not necessarily, but it makes you very much aware of your surroundings and focuses you so much more on an individual thing, which ordinary, it's just, so you look outside, what's changed outside? They've painted a window across the way there. I wonder what painted that window for. You'd notice it probably because if you see it every day. That's the same mentality. But wiping the sweat, etc.
I took it as if you're hiding from an enemy, or you're whatever you're doing, and like a fly hits you, or something crawls over you, and you can't control you. I saw it as that. Really.
That as well, absolutely. Yeah. But it's funny that in those moments, you need to be able to do 65 push-ups.
Yeah.
You've got to do 80 sit-ups and 18 pull-ups and all this. And when you're going to try and test yourself before you go, well, I can do 65, I can do 18, I can do this and that. You can, probably can. But didn't tell you beforehand, you can get absolutely battered within an inch of your life. Right, now you do. And you're like, oh, what about the 400 I've just done moments before? But that was everything. Every time you went down, right, here's your test. 15-minute warm-up, my backside.
And so I remember very clearly press-ups, sit-ups fine, pull-ups on the old wooden beams from the little high school kind of gymnasiums, slipping off and then getting back on and not being able to go, just do enough. I think I did about 7 or something, but it wasn't enough. And then the bleep test. And I was like dying. I thought, this isn't for me, really. And they saw that as well, I think, pretty quickly.
There's no hiding there. There's no hiding going to that process.
No, there's no. You can't just, skive your way through it at all. We haven't spoken about the books yet. I think we should. So have you finished the second book yet?
No, I'm nearly finished. I'm about 66,500 words into that.
Okay.
And the first book was 73,500. So I'm nearly there.
Okay.
It's going to be exactly the same premise of the first one.
Yeah.
But, a few extras.
And what was the premise of the first one? So, tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, ultimately, and how it came about, an engineer who, again, was a really great engineer, got promoted into a managerial role. Shit. Terrible. Big faux pas. And sat on the top of a vehicle in Australia, top of a vehicle. And this armored vehicle I was sort of teaching, leading on there, and said, Lowell, let's, for what a better word, just talk about stuff. Oh, what you've done before in the Marines and this. I just talked, as I am now, about stuff. And went, you should write a book. It was particularly about the run across America. And I could probably write a book about the run across America on its own. Will I? Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. But certainly I'm going to talk about it and write about elements of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. So when I started at the training place, I used to have to get to work early. And so I'd write, because traffic, if I left a bit later, it meant I was going to be late. If I left early, I'd get there to work early, but at least I'd be on time. So I used to write 1,000 words a day in the morning, stories, poems as well. I write poetry and the like. And then it came around that these stories I was writing was just about things that happened to me. And I made a list. I started making a list, an Excel spreadsheet, a list. And I was like, God, there's quite a lot here. And it wasn't really till I got back to the UK 4 years ago from Australia. And my now wife, Kathy, had kind of read something like, you should get this in a book.
Yeah.
It was like poetry and then write the story. You write really well. You should put this in a book. So I decided to. And so the premise of the book is Dits. Dits are little stories. Ditties
Yeah.
shortened down to Ditties. That's D, Delta, Ditties, not Tango, to be fair. And then, fan of those as well. But the Ditties are just stories from my life, both in the Marines, but also a couple of bits beforehand. I'm a journey in there. There will be some of those bits and pieces afterwards, like the world record and all that sort of stuff. They'll definitely be in there about mixed martial arts and doing that and how that came about and developed into BJJ, all that stuff. And so the first book, Dits, The Good, the Bad, and the Unrepeatable, was released in November under publishers Barnthorne. Great little team there. Small publishing house. Fastest selling book they've ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was an Amazon bestseller, the third on the bestsellers list. Didn't make number one. And it's 12 quid. Get it? Still available, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I said earlier about is I've got that. It's a tangible piece of it's a legacy item that I've got forever.
Yeah.
I speak very freely about a lot of things. You know, while my nickname's Obi-Wan. You know, I'm called Damian Todd Meister, and worse names. But Obi, most people, you know, certainly from end of Sweden forward through Australia, always know he's Obi. Didn't even know my name was Damien, you know. But yeah, so it's about those stories, and I think the beauty of them, there's no specific timeline. So if I say, you know, chapter 1, 2, 3, which is Dit 1, 2, 3, goes from 2013. The second Dit is 1994. The third Dit is 1996. There's a no particular order, and you can pick that book up anywhere and read any of those Dits without having any context or background to anything beforehand or afterwards, and you could just read it and pick it up. You might have a favourite one, and there are a couple of favourites in there in mine, which I love, and you just pick it up and read it and enjoy it. And then at the end of each story is a thing which I call Toddy's Tips, and that's what did I learn from this experience.
Yeah.
And I talk about everything. I'm open about, you know, suicidal ideation, being in that premise. I'm just actually in the middle of writing a Dit for the second book, which is about where I've been in my journey towards being suicidal and how I talk about that. And I'm very open about it. You know, I don't think there's strength in that. And it's certainly given others strength to not take their own life, which I'm probably the best thing. Like I said about the guy rolling with me in the world record. Young lad, 17 years old. Thank you for saving my life. Choked me every time. But I love it. And not for me, I love it for him that he's still alive. He's still doing BJJ and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what it's about. And I said, I'm nearly finished the book 2. But in the second book, I'm going to put a few extras. So I'm going to put some dot to dots.
Right.
So people can do dot to dot, and they're going to leave some space after each story for people to write. And well, what did you learn from this? Have you had a similar situation? So just to write in the book. I want people to go and enjoy it. I say this to both Chaddy and Troy the last couple of days, is I'm not, and I should say publishers listening, I do care about the you know, I'm not bothered. I get more value from those people enjoying the book. If you enjoy that, I don't really care about anything else. If people learn from it and get something from that, that's the best prize.
You mentioned looking through some of the reviews of it and seeing names of people you knew and calling them and saying, "This is you," and they said, "Yeah, we loved it. Yeah, how are you doing?" And what a great way of opening up connections with people again.
Absolutely. Yeah, been up here and, you know, really good mates over the years from different things, and them featuring in the book as well. You know, Chaddy in Dit 2, and he features in the longest one I've written in the next book was the I don't know what to call it, the best and worst night out I've ever had. Most traumatic. We're in Baltimore, me, him, Chaddy, and the guy Andy Weeks.
Right.
And I sent him the draft of it, almost finished draft. Which makes no sense, but it's early. I need to change a few bits and pieces as we discussed yesterday with him. But it's 14,000 words long. It's massive. It's a massive Dit. It's a long Dit. But it's you can't, unless people go, nah, that didn't happen. No, it happened. You couldn't believe what happened. It was brilliant. Going to Baltimore for an evening back in '94. That 2 weeks. That 2 weeks we had in America, the US tour of '94 was probably two of the best weeks I ever had in 22 years. It was just brilliant. But yeah, the book's for me has been great. Been cathartic writing it. Been funny. It's made me laugh, made me cry. The whole manner of things. But But, you know, I've had some people tell me that they think it's the best book they've ever read, which is brilliant. I mean, that's just so flattering. Best book you've ever read? Yeah, but, you know, I wrote that. I didn't have any else. But people have said, there's a guy, really, really intelligent guy, really good friend,
Yeah.
guy called Martin. And he's read it, and he's incredibly astute and, I say, clever. He's just a clever guy. Got a lot of time for him. Hey, man, this is brilliant. This is nothing to. I had to check whether you'd had somebody else write it. I was like, and I get that because I'm a bit of, like I said, I'm a bit of an idiot. I'm a bit of a clown. But yeah, I wrote it, and I'm incredibly proud of it. You know. In fact, there's one of the guys, he searched me AI, so what is Damian Todd? Damian Todd, and one of the best authors ever in this. I'm like, shut up. I sold, you know, a few hundred copies.
I did see that review, yeah.
But I'm just...
I feel like if you're writing from something that means a lot to you, standard probably goes up. Cause...
I'm incredibly passionate. Yeah. I haven't done the things I've done. You can't do, I don't think you can achieve without passion. Yeah. If you don't have any passion in your work, if you're trying to achieve and you don't have any, you're not passionate about the end goal, you are never going to be or give it your best. And it's the fall down in so many things. It's created rifts in my life where I've been so blinkered. I need to get that done. I don't get nothing shit. That's the prize. And the run across America was definitely one of those where I was blinkered. I didn't give it, you didn't like the sandwiches, you didn't like this. I didn't give a shit. Do the job. Do your job and get us to Los Angeles. I don't care that you don't like that. I don't care you don't want to do me. I don't care. You just do what we've come to do, raising money for charity. It's not about you. It's not about you. Not about me. I snapped my Achilles. I'm still here. Shut up and get on and do your job. As in raising money.
So you were due to run it, but you snapped your Achilles and then did it on a bike that
Handbike.
Powered with your hands.
And it was a wish.com.
Just like you do.
Wish.com living handbike. It wasn't a, you can't bet it's specialized. It was shit. It was shit. But it did the job. But again, it's one of those things that's redefined me a little bit. Yeah.
There's that kind of skill, if you could call it a skill, with a lot of the highly qualified military people I've spoken to, where it's, okay, well, I've got to get to the next checkpoint. I'm doing it. And that there's nothing in the brain that says, that even thinks about anything else. Right, go. Okay, coordinates, go. And it's the same with tasks in life as well. Very efficient, work hard, and it's a kind of tunnel vision as much as you can have, really.
Yeah, I think that it is having tunnel vision. You have to be aware of the things around, but at the same time, okay, but is that going to affect, going back to, is that going to actually affect my plan? Which is like the goal to get to the end point. No, don't care. Don't care. Yeah, so you got all these cakes on this tray. I don't put them all in my mouth at once. I could. I look a bit of a pig, and it'd be probably interesting. Although is that a cream egg?
It is. Yeah, incredible. Well, we had a strongman on, an absolute griller of a man, and he kind of ate one all by. I was like, I wouldn't, because you'll kill you. You'll be pre-diabetic in about 10 minutes time. But yeah. So what's your purpose now? What is the, obviously you've got the book and it's helping people. I feel like I keep answering questions and asking many. What's going on with you now and the purpose that you have?
I suppose fundamentally my absolute goal right now is to do a couple of public speaking events coming up, which I'm looking forward to. It's great. It's easy. Relatively speaking, I actually prefer the Q&A after them. Ask me a question. What do you want to know? What can you learn? If I can help you, the thing that I enjoy most in life is helping people. There is no greater feeling of actually helping someone. I get that a lot in doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, watching some people that have done exactly what I've shown them, winning or just beating something or just getting to a better position or what else. To me, amazing. The same in leadership things. OB, how do I do this? Or Damian, how do I do that? Well, if it were me, I would approach it like this. Being a coach and mentor to people like in that way. And it could just be in everyday life. But also writing, I just love writing. And I love the fact that it's inspired me to really accelerate this second book. So I thought, I'll probably get out by April. I'll have finished it by the end of the month. Absolutely, we'll finish the book with the dot to dots and the little boxes in the end of it all. So I'm excited. I'd like to think that could be out by the end of March, maybe, once the publishers have done their thing.
Yeah.
So my real purpose to put it on a box is just to help people. Help people, tick along, make some money doing it. Yeah, of course, because you need money.
Got pay bills and
and stuff to do. I get pension, and I turn 55 a week on Saturday, so I'm excited about that because my pension goes up a bit. It's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But if I can just go for the rest of my days helping people in some manner, that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds very
it's nice.
It is, and it's genuine. I'm not really bothered about anything else. I'm really not bothered about other stuff. There's other stuff happening with my wife and what she's doing, and she's doing really well with the business, and that's great, and it's amazing. And the family, which is my family now, she's got 3 girls. I've got a son who's in Oxford, and grandson with him now, and his wife, and they're just lovely.
Yeah,
I love spending time with them. I haven't been able to see them as much. I haven't seen them all this year, but I will. But yeah, and the grandkids, I've got 5 grandkids in total, and they're great. I'm looking forward to spending more time with them. When sometimes they're a bit older, because not pissing and pooing and doing that stuff so much.
Yeah,
but,
I was always like, bring them back when they're 5, and we can have a
it's kind of easier. But even so, they're funny. They're quirky, and so yeah, I just want to do that, and so I'm just super excited to get the second book out. And I'm not J.K. Rowling. I'm not going to make a fortune from it.
No.
Not bothered. I do make a fortune in my own head by having people go, "Hey, this is really good." It's not about these, but balls from me ego. Again, I'm going to get at some point somebody will read my book and go, "You're a dirty flipping foul mouth, cheat and all these things." I know.
Yeah.
It's in my book. I wrote it. You've read it. Why are you telling me, validating what I've told you? But if you come away from go, "Oh, I did learn from that. Yeah, he cheated on his wife in his first case because of the reason he did, and I've articulated why." Doesn't make it right. In some people's mind, but some people go, "Yeah, I probably would have done the same," or whatever it is that I've done in the book, and people go, "Yeah, I love it," or "I hate it." And at some point, somebody will give me a 1-star review saying, "You're just a shit bloke," and they would also be right.
We create this really to. I didn't do it for a couple of years because I didn't want my face on it. I didn't want to be the face of it, and it was just to create activity around our clients' businesses, essentially, online and our business and everything like that. And then one day someone said, "Oh, listen to that. I really liked it." And it felt really good.
Yeah.
But the purpose is not for that at all, but actually creating something that someone might have listened to and got something from or just enjoyed. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's not an ego thing.
No, not at all. It's just, at least I've done that and somebody enjoyed the thing. It was even my thing. It's the thing. It's an entity in itself.
Yeah.
You go, "Oh, I really enjoyed that." "Oh, well, great. I'm pleased." You smile. And I think this is a thing about that I've learned as well, over even the last couple of years, is finally getting to a point where on that oscilloscope of life, trying to reduce those waves of high and low, the happiness and the sadness, to come to a point in the middle, which is contentment.
Yeah.
And I always remember my second wife's dad, Tony, and I will name him because one of the things he always said, "I don't look to be happy, I look to be content, to be content." And that middle line there is contentment. I said this to him yesterday. And if I can be content, that's happiness. Because there's a long, long way to fall. If you go and you're constantly looking to be happy, you're going to fall far and fall hard at some point into that sadness, and that's a long way to go. And I've been there. It's horrible. Like I say, you've been in the gunnels of the very bottom of the pit of your feelings, to be able to drag yourself out is a hell of an achievement. And again, I've done that a few times. But if I just aim to be in the middle there, be happy. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit there like a miserable git. A t-shirt under here said I'm a grumpy old veteran. I've got no filter. 100% true.
Yeah.
But I am grumpy. I'm a grumpy old man because I'm frustrated with things. Because I've seen that and that. And being in the middle, I go, just why can't you just be happy with this? You know, look around the world right now. There's a very these are unsteady times. They are. They're very. It's a bit. It is worrying. And part of me goes, why can't you just be? Okay, just be content. Just flat line, please. Because if you're looking for this, whatever it is that is, you're gonna fall far. Be happy, yeah. Have a laugh, get together, spin dits, do all chit chat, and all that stuff. Yeah,
that kind of quest for happiness, and you know, if I do that, I'll be happy. It can be a poison chalice.
It's absolute poison.
And I used to watch my neighbour. You could see this sounds bad. You could see through into the kitchen, and I'd look out, and I'd see him making his coffee in the morning. I'm sorry, Neil, if you ever listen to this. I'm not stalking you or anything, but he'd make his coffee, and the peace and the happiness in his face and the process of making his coffee and then sitting down looking out the window at the back. It was just this realization, it's not the drinking the coffee, it's the making it. It's not the completing your challenge, it's the process doing it. If you can find happiness in those things that you do every day and the process of it, then it's just being happy. It's not a quest to...
Routine's a good thing. Routine's a really good thing for us as beings. Our favourite thing, you would say, is there's a period that's the morning and the night, getting up, and generally speaking, the week, Catherine will get up, have apple cider vinegar, and have a coffee in bed, and look out the window into, we live in the middle of nowhere, which are birds, which are squirrels prick around, or whatever else. It's bliss, and the dogs are on the bed.
Yeah,
that's our serenity.
Yeah,
that's what we look for. And then in the evening, have a bedtime tea with the honey, go to bed, put the TV on, fall asleep, whatever. Wake up, oh, perfect. Next day, rinse and repeat. Those Matrix, those Neo moments.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in a simulation. Are we? Okay, well, what you do about it? If we're in one, are you taking a red or a blue pill? Gives a shit.
Yeah.
Middle line. Aim for those things. Find those things that just make you what your class has been happy. That's just contentment. I'm not laughing my head off when I'm doing that stuff. I'm just content.
See, was it you, George, had the chat with I was quoting City Slickers, the film that you'd never heard of, because it was about 10 years before you were born. Yeah. So Billy Crystal goes out, he's an unhappy, city guy, and he goes to drive some cattle across to find happiness.
I do know it.
And well, I was watching it a few months ago, and the cowboy Curly, he takes him away from them all, and he says, "Do you know what the secret to life is?" And he's like, "No." He said, "It's just this one thing." He's like, "What's the one thing?" And he said, "It's different for everyone, but you have to find your one thing." And I linked that in my head to had to do this career development thing in the previous job. We had to give a presentation about something, and Bhavesh, he did one about single tasking, not multitasking, and how the brain is designed for single tasking. And I was like, it's Curly from City Slickers, that one thing. Yeah. If you're thinking about too many things, it messes with your brain. If you concentrate on that one thing at that one time. And then all the best leaders I've come across, they give you the full attention. They're not thinking about something, not on the laptop shuts, and they give you the full attention. It's that one thing. And I always go back, anything that I'm doing, and I'd be struggling with this. It's like, okay, right, what's the one thing you need to do next? Yeah. Anyway, that's the philosophy according to me.
Plate spinning. Yeah. If you're plate spinning, it's like, well, which one, you might guess which one. It's just, if you just focus on one, like you say, it's just doing that.
So it's Neil next door making his coffee.
Yeah, it's great. You'd have them just sit there and go, wow. It's like a sense of like irreverence.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me on. You in your little kingdom, wherever that is in the world, watching this or whatever else, and just enjoy the simplicity of
meditation, isn't it? They say concentrate on your breathing. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
It's been really good talking to you. I hope we've made it a good conversation for you as well.
No, great. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll pull the links to everything for the book and all that on the episode description and push it out everywhere. Yeah, thanks for coming on and
thank you
sharing your story.
My pleasure. So